Welcome to Lento English. Ready to level up your English? Here we learn through stories, slow, clear, and fun. Listen, relax, and enjoy the journey.
One introduction. The water came very fast. One moment the streets were normal. The next moment water was everywhere. It was not just rain. It was like a river flowing through the town. People were surprised. They did not know what was happening. They felt confused and they felt scared. The water came into their homes. It came into their shops. It rose quickly. It was brown and dirty. It moved cars and other things. It was difficult to walk. It was impossible to drive. The noise of the water was loud. It was a sudden change. Everything was wet. Everything was moving with the water. People looked out of windows. They saw the water rising higher. They were worried. Where could they go? What could they do? The water was strong. It showed no mercy. It just kept coming. This big flood happened in a place called Guizhou Province. It is in the southwest part of China. Many towns and villages in this area felt the power of the water. It was a difficult time for the people living there. Their lives changed in minutes because of the flood. This province became the center of a big natural event. Nature is very powerful. Sometimes it is calm and beautiful, but sometimes it shows its great strength. The heavy rain and the rising water were an example of this power. When nature is this strong, it can change everything around it. It can change the land. It can change buildings, and it can change people's lives very fast. So, what happens when nature's power is unleashed like this? What happens to the towns? What happens to the people? How do they face such a big problem? What do they do when their homes are full of water? How do they stay safe? This story is about what happened in Guizhou Province. It is about the flood and the people who lived through it. It is about how they faced the power of nature. 2. The waters rise. The water moved fast and strong. It came into the Rongjiang area. This is a place in Guizhou Province. The water was high. It covered the ground and went into buildings. Many homes were broken by the water. The walls and roofs were not safe. People could not stay inside. The water made roads disappear. Cars and trucks could not drive. It was impossible to travel from one place to another. The water also stopped communication. Phones did not work. It was hard to talk to family or friends. It was hard to ask for help. The water kept rising. It went higher and higher. It was a very dangerous time. Sadly, the bad water caused deaths. The first report said that 6 people had died. The water was too strong for them. They could not escape. People were very sad about this. The water was still rising in many places. People were worried that more people could be hurt or die. It was not safe anywhere near the water. The government and helpers saw the big problem. They knew people were in danger. They had to make a very hard decision. The water was too high. The damage was too great. It was not safe for people to stay in their homes. The decision was made to move people to safe places. This is called evacuation. Many people had to leave. More than 80,000 people were asked to leave their homes. Think of that number, 80,000 people. It is like a small city. All these people had to pack small bags quickly. They had to leave their houses, their things, their memories. They did not know when they could come back. They did not know if their homes would be okay. It was a very difficult time for them. Leaving was not easy. Roads were blocked by water or broken things. It was hard for buses or cars to move. People had to walk through water sometimes. they had to go to higher ground. It was a big job for the helpers, too. They worked hard to get people to safety. The water kept causing problems. Communication was still bad. It was hard to know where everyone was. But getting people away from the rising water was the most important job. More than 80,000 people went to safe places away from the danger. 3. A girl is saved. The flood brought many problems to the town. The water was high and dangerous everywhere. In one area, there was a story about a young girl. She was in a very bad situation because of the water. The girl was trapped. She could not move from where she was. She was stuck inside a drain. A drain is a place where water usually goes away, but now it was full of flood water. Being inside a drain during a flood was extremely dangerous. The water was flowing quickly and with a lot of power. People nearby knew about the girl. They were worried about her. They wanted to help her immediately. But the conditions made it very difficult to get close. The flood water was everywhere. It was moving fast. It was deep in some areas. Going into the water to reach her was not safe for anyone. The ground around the drain was also dangerous because of the flood. Firefighters came to help. These are brave people who help others in difficult times like this. They understood the danger the girl was in. They knew they had to save her quickly. Saving her from the drain was a very hard job. They needed to use special tools. They had to think carefully about how to rescue her without hurting her or themselves. The girl was trapped for a long time. The hours passed slowly while she waited. She was stuck in the drain for 7 hours. 7 hours is a very long time to be in a cold, dark, dangerous place. It was a long and worrying wait for the girl, her family, and the people trying to save her. The firefighters did not give up. They worked continuously. They found a way to get to the girl slowly and carefully. It was a difficult job, step by step. Finally, after hours of work, they were able to reach her. They helped her to come out of the drain to safety. When the girl was finally rescued, it was a moment of great happiness. People felt relieved and thankful. Seeing her safe was a positive thing in the middle of the disaster. Her rescue showed that help was coming and that people were working hard to save lives. It was a small but important sign of hope. This story reminded everyone about the importance of rescue efforts during the flood. The girl was now safe because of the brave actions of the firefighters and other helpers. Her safety was a good outcome in a difficult time. 4. Help is coming. After the flood, the situation was very serious. Many people had lost their homes and everything they had. The government quickly started its plan to help. This was the official response to the disaster. They understood that a lot of support was needed. They decided to send money to the area. A large amount of money was sent to Guizhou province. It was $14 million. This money was for disaster relief. It would be used to help the people and to start fixing the damage. Many rescue teams were sent to the affected areas. These teams were made up of soldiers, firefighters, and other trained people. Their work was very difficult. The floodwaters had broken many things. Roads were blocked. Houses were damaged or destroyed. There was a lot of broken material everywhere. The rescue teams started working immediately. One of their first jobs was to clear away the broken material. This was important so they could move around and reach people who needed help. They also had to search carefully. They looked in all the damaged buildings. They wanted to find anyone who might be trapped inside. They called out names and listened for sounds. This search was dangerous because the buildings were not stable. The water was still high in many places, which made the work harder. The teams used boats and special equipment to move through the water. Sadly, some people were still missing after the flood. The rescue teams continued to search for them without stopping. They looked in different areas where people might have been when the water came. This search for missing people was a very important part of the rescue effort. The teams worked for many hours each day. They faced many challenges. The weather was still difficult. It was hard to travel because of the damage to roads and bridges. Communication lines were also broken in some places. Despite these problems, the rescuers kept working. They showed great courage. They helped many people get to safety. They provided basic needs like food and clean water. The government's financial help and the tireless work of the rescue teams were signs that help was truly coming. People who were suffering knew that efforts were being made to support them and rebuild. This was a big disaster, but many people worked together to bring help and hope to the areas affected by the flood. 5. Not just one place. The difficult weather was not only in one area. It was a problem in more than one place in southern China. Besides Guizhou, the floods also came to the nearby region called Guangxi. In Guangxi, the water was very high in many low areas. Cities there had problems too. Roads were blocked, so people could not travel easily. It was also hard to use phones because communication lines did not work well in some places. Some people were trapped in their homes because of the high water. They could not get out. People saw videos from Guangxi. These videos showed rescue teams working hard. The teams were helping people. They were helping people get to safe places away from the water. Another place that had problems was Hunan province. Hunan is next to Guizhou. Hunan did not have floods everywhere like Guangxi, but it had very heavy rain. This rain was caused by a typhoon. Because of the heavy rain in Hunan, many people had to leave their homes. Thousands of people left their houses to be safe. This happened in Hunan before the floods were widely reported in Guizhou and Guangxi. So, the weather was causing trouble in different provinces. It was not just Guizhou. It was also Guangxi and Hunan. These provinces are all in the south part of China. This showed that the weather problems were big and happening in many areas at the same time. It was a wide problem across the region. 6. The weather report. The reason for the big floods was the weather. It rained very heavily in southwest China. This strong rain fell for about 10 days. The water came down and filled the rivers and streets. China has an official group that watches the weather. It is called the China Meteorological Administration. This group saw that more bad weather was coming. They gave an important warning to people. They said it would rain even more in some areas. These areas were in Guizhou province and also in Yunnan and Sichuan provinces. The weather office said that up to 300 millimeters of rain could fall. 300 millimeters is a lot of water. Imagine 30 centimeters of water falling from the sky. This heavy rain was expected by the 5th day of July. China uses a special system to warn people about dangerous weather. This system has different levels of warning. The most serious level is called a red alert. A red alert means the weather is very dangerous and people need to be very careful. It is the highest warning level. The Weather Office used this system recently. Last week, they gave a red alert for heavy rain. It was the first red alert for heavy rain in the year 2025. This red alert was for 6 different areas in China. Giving a red alert shows just how serious the weather was. The heavy rain from this period was the cause of the floods that covered towns and homes. The weather report helped people understand the danger and why the water was rising so high. 7. A bigger problem. People in China know about floods. Every summer, heavy rain falls in many parts of the country. Rivers get full and sometimes water goes into towns and fields. This is not new. It happens often, but in recent years it seems the problems from the weather are getting bigger. The rain is stronger and the floods are worse. The floods in Guizhou and other areas like Guangxi and Hunan are very serious. They show the power of the water, but this is not just one bad summer. Many people think that the weather is changing. The world is getting warmer, and this can make some weather events much stronger. Heavy rain can become much, much heavier. This is what scientists talk about when they talk about climate change. We see this not only in the south of China. Last year, in 2023, there were also very bad floods. These floods happened in the north, near the big city of Beijing. That rain was also very strong. It caused a lot of damage and many people lost their lives. So the problems with extreme weather are happening in different parts of the country, not just one place. When the weather changes, it means things that were normal can become dangerous. Summer rain is normal, but summer rain that is much stronger than before can cause big disasters. It breaks roads, it damages homes, and it puts people in danger. This is the bigger problem. It is not just about one flood in one town. It is about how the weather is changing and what that means for the future. The heavy rain that caused the floods in Guizhou and the south is part of this bigger picture. It is a sign that the weather is becoming more extreme. This means that places need to be ready for stronger rain and bigger floods in the future. It is a challenge for everyone to think about how to live safely when the weather can be so strong. The floods this year are a difficult time for many people, and they also remind everyone about the changes happening in the world's weather. It is a problem that needs attention. 8. What happens next? The water is starting to go down in some places. People can see the damage now. Homes are broken and streets are full of mud. It is a sad time for many families. They lost their things and some lost their homes. The rescue work is still important. Teams are helping people and looking for those still missing. It is hard work and it will take many days. But the weather is not finished. A new storm is coming. It is called a tropical depression. This storm is moving towards Hainan Island. After that, it might go to another area called Guangdong Province. These are places in southern China. The storm will bring more rain. People there need to be careful and get ready. For the people in Guizhou and other flooded areas, the next steps are difficult. They must begin to clean and rebuild. This means clearing away the mud and fixing houses. It costs money and needs help from others. The government is sending money and supplies. People in the communities will help each other too. This is a time for strong people. This big flood teaches a lesson. Summer often brings rain to China, but the rain is getting heavier. Floods are becoming a bigger problem. People need to think about the future. How can they be safer next time? Maybe they need stronger buildings or plans to move quickly when bad weather comes. It is important to learn from what happened. The people affected by the flood have a long road ahead. Rebuilding their lives will take time, but people are strong. They will work together to make their homes and communities safe again. They hope for better weather and a chance to start fresh.